All right, so I kind of just want to briefly go over what a cap top is, why it's important, and why you need to make time to maintain these little guys, okay? They are kind of the unsung hero of your printer running well. And the reason why that is this acts as a home base for your print head to sit on top of when either one, it's not in use, or when you are doing any sort of automatic cleaning on any of your printers. So what this basically consists of, and they can sometimes look different depending on what type of print heads you have, but for the most part the structure is exactly the same. So you have excuse me, you have a gasket here which acts as a seal. There is this little tiny housing unit that usually sits underneath, kind of like a clip that holds it in place. There are two springs that sit underneath here, which I don't have but are sitting in my printer right now, and then a tube that runs down to either a pump or to another kind of like collection of tubes, which all essentially ends up in the same spot, which is to a pump, and then into the pump, or from the pump into the reservoir where your waste ink goes. So how, dang, excuse me. So how or why are these important? How exactly does it work with your printer? So we're just going to pretend that this right here is the surface of your print head. And usually, of course, they would be sitting like this and your print head would go boop over the top of it like that. But to show you, I'm just going to go ahead and hold it like this. So let's say your print head is moving on top of your gasket. Usually the whole entire housing unit that's in the gantry for your print head will kind of have a little bit of play, and as this print head goes over it, it'll kind of like click into place and add a little bit of pressure to this gasket. It usually is squishy. You can see on this one, it's not really that squishy anymore. There's not a lot of play for it. You don't want to let your print head or your cap tops get to that point, but when your print head goes over it, it sits on top and it creates a little seal. And then when the printer is not in use, for example, no ambient air is touching your print head where the actual nozzles fire from. So you don't have any issues of it drying out. Also, when you are running an automatic cleaning, and it is, doing its little suction thing through here, it's creating a good seal so that it is actually doing the cleaning properly, where it is pulling ink from the nozzles into the cap top. Okay, so that is what the function of a cap top does. What happens is that over time they do get worn out. This tends to get wider, which you don't want, and what that will do is create basically a really crappy suction, and that can cause all the things that we don't want: your head drying out, or of course, like I said, complete fallout from it, and then your cleaning's not working. So as an example, let's see, I think this is wide enough. Here's a little suction cup. When you have a good seal, you're going to have a good seal, right? Just like that. But if there is the slightest gap in your gasket, you're not going to get that seal at all. So that's what happens when your cap top blows out. So again, make sure that you're, figuring that into your maintenance so that you don't have issues of, colors falling out or your print heads drying or whatever it may be. I tell people this all the time. If you don't make time for maintenance on your equipment, it will make time for you. So yeah, make sure that you factor this in. And here's a couple pictures of what mine looks like and what a new one looks like. Definitely a big difference. So, anyway, I hope that helped.